What's up, everybody? This is Venus with Clicking and Streaming, here to bring you some tips, tricks, and insights on Sea of Thieves as we head into the launch week. On this video, you're going to see some footage from a recent skeleton fort raid that we had played during the final beta weekend. Just wanted to talk a little bit about knowing your movement and knowing your routes as you're playing Sea of Thieves, as I think it can help both with the skeleton forts and just general gameplay.
Remember, when the captain comes out, don't look, then powder so everybody else runs away.
Throughout the footage, you're going to see me moving around the fort pretty quickly. This is based on many years of playing games like Quake and different things like that that could be a little bit twitchy and a little bunny hop-ish. I found that this movement's made me pretty hard to hit or keep a beat on for the skeletons, and even though some of these encounters are actually pretty light in their danger, I've had skeleton fort experiences that were a lot more intense with waves that seem to really mob on you, and moving around this way, moving around quickly and hopping around and knowing little shortcuts throughout the skeleton fort seem to make all the difference in the world about not getting pinned against a wall and gunned down or slashed up and just killed and finding yourself on the Fury of the Damned over and over again when you might need to be on this fort clearing skeletons or watching your buddies' backs. First and foremost, you're going to want to know where the location of all the ammo boxes are around the skeleton fort. Being able to refill your blunderbuss or your pistol as you're gunning down wave after wave of skeletons is going to make all the difference in the world. It also helps to hit your shots. I missed this jump right here, but it's really important to look for little objects like that around the skeleton fort. That awning is one of my key shortcuts to move around throughout the decks, and it allows me to jump up, flank the skeletons, or get out of the way of their fire pretty quickly without too much trouble.
It's definitely a new one.
Little jumps like this one are actually all around the game, so be sure to experiment. You'll find them on ships, on islands, here in the forts, different little ways to find angles or shortcuts and be able to move around a little bit quickly, and flank players that might not be expecting you to be able to get up there. Even though the skeleton's completely embarrassing me at this point, you'll notice as I had my block up there, I was able to hold backwards and then hop. That little hop's going to get you out of a lot of trouble, and I find a lot of players aren't really experimenting with the blocking status. I'll talk about that in a later video as well. I quick swap from my blunderbuss to my cutlass a lot, just to get those finishing blows on a skeleton who I may have only grazed with my blunderbuss. This helps keep the tempo up as far as the kills are going, and it doesn't let me get into too much trouble. That way I can also block and parry away if I need to. I would hope that this is fairly self-explanatory, but know the choke points around the forts where all the waves of skeletons will pour through. It's an easy way to get a lot of damage done with just a couple of blunderbuss shots. If your whole team can coordinate this, you can wipe out half a wave just coming up those ramps or stairs. My movement here gets me out of a lot of trouble. If you'll look, I took minimal damage, despite the fact that I ran right through half a wave. Just hopping around and hopping over onto that awning got me out of that deck, whereas otherwise I would have had to fight my way through, and I probably would have died. Different crews will have a completely different take on how to do the skeleton forts, and ultimately whatever works for you is best. I like moving around and staying up in the mix with the skeletons, but some crews will actually sit on their ships and have just one or two people kite the skeletons out to the beach and wipe them out with cannons from afar. I'd prefer to save the ammo for PvP, but whatever works best for you.
Main room.
Shortly after this video ends, the captain does spawn, and we end up blowing up that cache of gunpowder barrels that we've set up on the bottom floor. We end up wiping out half of our crew that way because we just weren't prepared for it, but I've actually found that you can blow the gunpowder up from the very top deck and take minimal splash damage that way. So if you have everyone trained to be able to pull out as soon as you see the captain, that's going to be the best way to wipe out that last wave, or at least make a big dent. Thanks a lot for watching. Happy hunting, and I'll see you out there.
There's the cap. Get clear,
Oh,
get
no.
clear.
Everybody fall back!